coming to the golden rice, I think everyone may know about the golden rice, but I am telling again the golden rice was developed by the Ingo Pottekar and Peter Beer. The golden there is the two types of golden rice 1 and golden rice 2 were developed after that in 2005. In the golden rice 1, the carotenoid content was 1.6 microgram per gram, but golden rice 2 carotenoid content was around 31 microgram per gram. So this is the pathway of the golden rice. If you see this one, the phytoenzymes, this in case of rice, this phytoenzymes and phytoenzymes, this gene is absent in case of rice. So for that reason, rice cannot synthesize the beta carotene. So for that purpose, the Ingo Pottekar, Peter Beer uh, did the genetic manipulation by overexpressing phytoenzymes and phytoenzyme desaturate, and they have seen that the carotenoid content was increased very much in the rice seed. This is the wild type rice. This is the golden rice 1 and golden rice 2. But unfortunately, if we have seen that the carotenoid content of the golden rice decreased very rapidly in during the storage process. If you see the carotenoid structure, it has the constitutive double bond system. During the storage process, lipoxygenase produce huge amount of reactive oxygen species, and this reactive oxygen species deteriorate the nutritional quality of the beta carotene. So in order to restore the carotenoid content, we down-regulate the lipoxygenase of the golden rice. The golden rice, which was developed in the 2006 by Datta et al., I down-regulated the lipoxygenase enzyme in this golden rice by RNA technology. In the P1 generation, I checked with the PCR analysis and enzyme assay. In the T2 generation, I have seen that the lipoxygenase activity was reduced very significantly compared to the wild type golden rice. After that, we also checked the integration by southern blot analysis and down regulation of the RNA LOX1 gene by the semi-quantitative PCR analysis. After that, we stored the rice artificially at 42 degrees centigrade, 84 relative humidity, and 14 days. We have seen that MDA production and hydrogen peroxide production was minimum in case of down-regulated line compared to the golden rice line. Again, this proved that the RNA LOX1 gene actually involved in the seed nutritional quality deterioration. After that, we analyzed the HPLC analysis of the carotenoid. If you see that this is the peak of the beta carotene. If you see, this is the non-treated rice seed carotenoid, and this is the peak of the treated rice seed. In case of golden rice, the carotenoid degradation was around the 56% after the storage process. But if you see, the carotenoid content decrease deterioration was around 10 to 12% in case of down-regulated line. So again, this proved that the R9 LOX1 gene actually involved in the seed nutritional quality deterioration also. So what is the use of this gene? This is not the problem of the rice. This is the same problem happened in the wheat. In case of maize, if we down-regulate the lipoxygenase enzyme in the seed-specific manner, we can increase the storage stability and we can protect the nutritional component of this grain, which is very much important for the nutritional aspect. A study of the regulation of carotenoid biosynthesis in the non-green tissue. We already know the carotenoid generally synthesized in the green tissue, but carotenoid cannot synthesize in the non-green tissue like rice seed. So for that purpose, the golden rice was manipulated by overexpression of phytosynthesis and phytoin desaturate. To understand the metabolic process happened in the golden rice seed, to understand this one, I have analyzed the proteomics analysis and metabolomics analysis. We have seen that this is the protein was isolated from the controlled rice seed and the golden rice seed, and we run in the two-dimensional gel electrophoresis. We have seen that the phosphophenol dikinase and phosphoryl kinase, these two genes was mostly upregulated in case of golden rice seed. Then we mapped in the biochemical pathway. We have seen that these two enzymes is mostly upregulated in case of golden rice seed to increase the pyruvate. If you see the carotenoid biosynthesis pathway, these carotenoids generally synthesized from the pyruvate. So from this study, we conclude that if we increase these two PGK and PPDK, we can overexpress these two genes along with the phytoin synthesis and phytoin desaturate. We can increase the carotenoid content much more. Next, I'm coming the second part. The second part is the development of the stress tolerant plant. Development of the stress tolerant plant. In the before slide, I have already discussed about the nutritional quality. Nutritional quality maintenance of nutritional quality is very much important. Along with it, the development of stress tolerant plant also very much important for the development of stress tolerant plant. Now I'm coming to the stress tolerant plant. If you see the global food security is threatened by the severe environmental condition, if you see that there are different environmental conditions affect which affect the rice productivity. Another is that one is the drought, heavy metal, salt, high temperature, alkaline, and low nitrogen. But among this one, the dehydration is the one of the most has the most detrimental effect. It reduces the productivity around the 50%. I am interested about the dehydration state among the environmental condition. So I am coming the physiological alteration in case of rain under the dehydration state. If you see from the root to the tip of the plant is affected a different way. If a root length decrease, the flowering reduction of flowering, decrease the chlorophyll content, decrease seed weight, the hampered the physiology of the plant and productivity decrease around the 50% due to the dehydration stress. If you see the identification of the gene under the dehydration stress condition is very much important for the development of the stress tolerant plant. If you see the integrated omics techniques, there are different omics techniques, genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics. Different omics techniques actually involved in the identification of the novel gene. So if during by using the integrated omics techniques, if we identify any novel gene, that gene can be overexpressed in the plant, and we can develop the stress tolerant plant. So in this study, I am especially interested about the proteomic study for the identification of the novel candidate gene and development of the stress tolerant plant by the genetic engineering. Next, and I am coming to the identification of dehydrogen dysphosphine protein. It is very much important for the development of the stress tolerant plant. In Datta et al. 2012 developed the dehydration tolerant plant by overexpressing the RAVE gene, arabidopsid RAVE gene. But the function of this, how this plant become dehydrated, it was not known. To understand the dehydration mechanism, we studied the proteomic study. For that purpose, we grow the plant in the greenhouse condition. After 1 month, we apply the dehydration stress by withholding water. After that, we re-water the plant again. If you see here, the transgenic plant morphology is better compared to the wild type rice variety. After that, we collected the root sample from this well water plant, stress plant, and rewater plant, and we isolate the total protein. After that, we run in the two-dimensional gel electrophoresis. This is for the control plant, and this is for the transgenic overexpressing plant. This is well water control. This is the dehydrated root tissue protein, and this is the rewatering plant. After that, the proteomics analysis, we have identified several proteins. Among this protein, we have seen that one of the protein R40C1 mostly upregulated under the dehydration stress condition. So this gene may have the significant role for development of the stress tolerant plant. Next, I am coming to the organelle proteomic study. Next, I am coming to the organelle proteomic study. Why the organelle proteomic study is important compared to the total protein? Tremendous progress have been done in the previous year for proteomic study, but I especially interested about the organelle proteomic study. Why it is important organelle proteomic study? If you isolate particular organ and if you do the proteomic study, you can understand the particular role of the particular organelle in the stress condition. I will be talking about especially the chloroplast and mitochondria, both two organ in the coming slide. If you see the Gupta et al. 2016, they have published the organelle proteomic study in chickpea, rice, maize, and other crop, chloroplast, mitochondria, plasma membrane, plasma membrane, cell wall. Now I am going to talking about the chloroplast and mitochondrial proteomic of the rice as well as chickpea. Before going to the organelle proteomic study, isolation of the organelle is very much important to avoid the impurity. For that purpose, we can do the density gradient or Pfalffer gradient method. By differential centrifugation method. We can isolate the individual organelle and we can do the isolation. If you see the proteomic study before going to the proteomic study, we have to isolate the particular organelle by density gradient method. After that, we have to isolate the protein for the particular organelle by treatment of the TCA precipitation or acetone precipitation. After that, we can do in two different ways. One, we can do the gel-based method or we can use the gel-free method. In the gel-free method, there are different quantity proteomics, ITRAC proteomic analysis. I have specially did the ITRAC proteomic study, and we can do the gel-based method, which is the two-dimensional gel electrophoresis. After that, we have to do the mass spectrometric analysis for the identification of the gene. Now I'm coming to the role of the chloroplast in the dehydration. Now, what is the role of the chloroplast? We should know the chloroplast is the organelle which is very much important under the dehydration. It has a very much role for the stress condition. It has around the 3,000 protein, but most of the protein come from the nucleus. To understand how the chloroplast is actually involved in the dehydration stress condition, I have done the proteomics, organelle proteomics study. For the organelle proteomic study, we view the rice in greenhouse condition, rice variety relatively tolerant variety in greenhouse condition for 1 month. After that, we apply the dehydration stage by withholding water for 9 days. After that, we isolate, harvest the tissue for the proteomic analysis. Before going the proteomic analysis, we have analyzed different biochemical analysis also. If you see the soil moisture content was decreased around the 50% and hydrogen peroxide production in the tissue was increased several fold compared to the untreated seed. If you untreated seedling, if you see this MDA production of proline content was increased several fold compared to the unstaged tissue and photosynthesis efficiency decreased significantly in case of dehydrated tissue. After that, what happened in the organelle, for that purpose, we analyze the transmission electron microscopy analysis, where we have seen that this is the untraced tissue and this is the dehydrated tissue. If you see this, the untraced tissue, no morphological change in the chloroplast was observed, but under the dehydration stress condition, the morphology was changed in the treated tissue. Before going to the proteomic study, this is our total plan for the proteomics and metabolomics study. This is the dehydrated tissue. This is the well water plant, and we isolate the chloroplast for the settling of the dehydrated and hydrated tissue by purple gradient method. After isolation of the chloroplast, we isolate the protein by acetone precipitation. After acetone precipitation, we perform the ITRAC analysis. ITRAC analysis is the quantitative proteomics. And another way, we have isolate the metabolite and we run in the GCMS for the metabolomic study. So in this study, we have performed the proteomic study as well as the metabolomic study for to understand the dehydration stage in plant, particularly the role of the chloroplast. Before going to the proteomic study, we perform the purity analysis by Western blot analysis by different chloroplastic antibody, mitochondrial antibody, and cytoplasmic antibody. We have seen that the chloroplastic fraction was increased several fold, but no band was observed in the mitochondrial antibody and the plasma antibody. And chlorophyll content of the protein in chloroplast was a very minimum content, and enzyme assay also proved that this purity also chloroplast was very much, there is minimum contamination. After that, we did the ITRAC quantitative proteomic study, where we have seen that the 40 differentially protein was differentially regulated. By blast tube analysis, we have seen that most of the protein, differentially expressed protein, was involved in the metabolic process and cellular process. After that, to understand the mechanism, how the differentially expressed protein is related to each other, we perform the string analysis. We have seen that the clustering of the protein synthesis, photosynthesis, metabolic process, carbohydrate metabolism, all this protein, some of the protein is related to each other. So from this study, we can predict the mechanism, the pathway, particular pathway, how one differential protein is interacting with one of the protein, and we can easily understand the mechanistic pathway, and we can pick out from this study one of the gene, and we can develop the stress tolerant plant. After that, the metabolomic study, if you see the metabolite, we have identified different amino acids, sugar, TCA metabolites, other metabolites. The blue one denotes the highly abundant metabolites, and red one denotes the low abundance metabolites. We have plotted in the biochemical path. We have seen that most of the amino acid was mostly upregulated under the stress condition. After that, we have compare our the differential express protein with the global proteome study. We have seen that the there was the some overlap with our protein. We have seen that this is the differential express protein which is involved in the Dow stage in our study, and as well as it was also reported other studies, salinity, light, iron deficiency, freezing, and all these states. So this all these gene is very much important for the development of the stress tolerant plant. So we can use this gene. My next objective is to functional characterization of this gene and development of the stress tolerant plant to increase the productivity of the rice seed. Next, this is not related to today's presentation. This is the chickpea mitochondrial proteomic study. Similarly, we have done this. I am not discussing here. This paper was published in Journal of Proteomics. In that case, the 24 protein was mostly upregulated, and 60 mitochondrial protein was downregulated under the dehydration stress condition. This gene may take significant role for the development of the stress tolerant plant. Now I'm coming to the mitochondrial proteomics of the rice. In the previously, I have already discussed the role of the chloroplast under the dehydration stress condition. Here again, I am discussing about the role of the mitochondria under the dehydration stress condition. Mitochondria also one of the interesting organelle which has the significant role for the ATP production, as well as it has the significant role for the development of the stress tolerant plant. For that purpose, we have also give the tissue in the greenhouse condition. After that, we apply the dehydration step by withholding water for 3 days, 6 days, and 9 days. After that, we harvested the tissue from the proteomic study. We have also checked the organelle deformation. If you see the 0 days organelle of the mitochondria, the transmission electron microscopy analysis of the mitochondria, this is the mitochondria. This is the 0 days, this is the 3 days, this is the 6 days, and this is the 9 days. If you see, with increasing the dehydration state, the organelle shape become deformated. So this proves that under dehydration state condition, mitochondria also the shape of the mitochondria also changing different way. After that, we analyze the relative water content. Soil moisture content decrease very rapidly with withholding water. We have seen the proline content, hydrogen peroxide production, MDA production increase from the oil water content to the dehydrated tissue. We have seen that the photosynthesis efficiency also decreases with increasing dehydration stress from the 0 days, 3 days, 6 days, and 9 days. So all this morphology proves that the plant undergo dehydration stress. For the mitochondrial proteomic study, first of all, we isolate the intact mitochondria from the seedling. For that purpose, we use the Parkol gradient. For density gradient, we isolate the intact mitochondria. If you see the confocal microscopy image, The mitochondria was stained with rhodamine 1 to 3. Rhodamine is the dye which only with only the stain the mitochondria. If you see, this is the intact mitochondria. This is the wild field image. So after that, we isolate the protein from the intact mitochondria by treatment with the acetone, and we isolate the protein. And this is the mitochondria. In this protein, we have checked by Western blot analysis. The mitochondrial fraction was in this several fold. After that, we perform the quantity proteomic study by eye track. We perform this one. We have seen that this is the we have identified 128 total protein, among which 101 protein was differentially regulated. This is, if you see this one, this is not visible here. There 101 protein was differentially regulated. Mitochondrial protein differentially regulated under the stress condition. But we have seen that the one of the protein was mostly upregulated under the dehydration stress condition. One of the protein we nomenclature, it is the DF protein, which has the amino acid 206 amino acid. We have tried to understand the crystal structure by biometric study. This is the crystal predicted structure of the protein DF. After that, the localization of this gene was confirmed. The by confocal analysis. For that purpose, we fuse the DA protein with YP and we express the Nicotiana benthiana. We have confirmed the localization of this protein under the confocal microscope. Before that, this is not the published work. That's why I am not going in the detail. I am telling you, but the function of this protein is not completely known. So for that purpose, we analyze the string analysis of differential express protein. From that string analysis, we have seen that some of the protein was interacting with the DA protein. After that, we have also procured the antibody for these genes, and we perform the co-IP analysis. From the co-IP analysis, we have identified some of the protein which is interacting with the DF. Another way, we have also did the H2 screening analysis. From these three analyses. One is the string analysis, second is the co-IP analysis, another Y2H analysis. We have seen that one of the protein PR is interacting with the DAP. PR is the peroxidexin, which is involved in the ROS detoxification process. To understand how the DAP protein actually involved in the detoxification process, to understand this one, we clone this gene DF and PRS and transform in the bacteria. We have seen that the yeast cell which present both two genes, survival was maximum when the interaction of DF and PRX was both in the yeast cell. We have also confirmed this interaction by the biopsy analysis. I am not showing here. After that confirmation, we clone this gene by RD29 promoter in the Picambia 1C03. Then we overexpress by agrobacterium mediated transformation in the IR64. After that T2 generation, after 1 month of growing the greenhouse condition, we applied the dehydration stage for the 13 days. If you see, this is the wild type plant and this is the overexpression line. After that, we re-watered the plant for the 6 days. We have seen that the survivability was better in case of overexpression line. We have seen that survivability was around the 40% in case of overexpression line compared to the wild type line. So our hypothesis, we proved our hypothesis by different analysis. We have seen that our protein was interacting with the PR protein, which is peroxidexin protein, which enhance the ROS catabolism process. The ROS is generally generated in the organelle during the dehydration stress condition, and it catabolizes and produce help in the plant survivability. This paper is already communicated in the journal. Apart from that, I am specially interested in different organelle proteomic study for the development of the stress tolerant plant. This is, if you see, the plant is the chloroplast and mitochondria. I have specially interested about the two organelle, the chloroplast and mitochondrial. There is the different, if you see, there is the different protease present in the both chloroplast and mitochondria. Plastoglobule is the another component which is present in the chloroplast. Chloroplast which has the significant role for the dehydration stage. If you see the role of protease, this is the chloroplast outer membrane and this is chloroplastic inner membrane. If you see the different